How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle, and today we're battling versus Leah Sophia, a randomer online. But go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There's a link in the description down below. And friendly reminders, drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We're on our way to 20k by the end of the year, and I'd love for you to be a part of that journey. Looking at the team, they got the Cat, they got the Slug, they got the Scizor, they got the Pelipper, they got the Raikou, and they've got the Galarian Weezing. So it's a pretty intense looking team. Not really. Meowscarada is pretty threatening. Raikou can be a threat, especially if he's that calm mindset with Thunderbolt Skull. That's pretty awesome. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to expect a Meowscarada lead, and I'm going to get my screens up straight away with my Ninetales. They may knock me off just to get rid of my Light Clay, but if they do, they risk getting hit by a Moonblast. So I don't think they will do that, but we'll have to see. Looks like Dewgong could put in some work here, though. If we can get that Scizor out of the way, for sure. So I think, and the Raikou. So we'll see what we can do. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Leah. So they're going to lead off with oh my god, what is that name? The Pelipper, the nice and shiny Pelipper, as we lead off with our Ninetales. So obviously this is a bad matchup for us because we're going to get the snow up, and then they're going to get the rain up afterwards because they're slower than us. So there we go, the snow is up, and then the rain goes up afterwards because they're slower. So we are in a bit of a disadvantage here. Now, I want to say they're going to go into Scizor here, and if they do, that's fine. We can just hard switch into Great Tusk. So I'm going to go for a Freeze Dry just because they may stay in a U-turn expecting us to hard switch out. So I'm going to go for a Freeze Dry just to be safe. If they do withdraw the Pelipper, I probably overthought that first turn, boys, whatever. They're going to withdraw, and they're going to go into Hasami, the Paldea champion, which is probably the Scizor, right? Yes, it is the Scizor. As we go for a Freeze Dry, and boom, a little bit of chip damage off on the Scizor, maybe even a Freeze. But no freeze, which is fine. We don't bank on hacks. That's what we definitely don't bank on hacks in this game. That's for sure. So let's switch out. Let's go ahead and go into. We could go Heatran, but close combat's a thing. I think Great Tusk is the best bet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. They may go for a U-turn expecting us to switch because it's pretty obvious we're not going to keep our Ninetales in against this thing. So let's go ahead and do that. As they do go for straight for a BP, they went straight for the kill, and it's going to do a bit of chip damage to my Great Tusk. Rocky Helmet is there as well, which is great. So they have got leftovers. We could use this as an opportunity to go for a knockoff and knock off something's item, because I don't think they'll keep the Scizor in here. So let's go for the knockoff real quick. They do withdraw the Scizor as expected, so it's nice to know we've got a competent player. And they're going to go back into the Pelipper, which is a good switch. It's definitely a good switch. You can take an Earthquake, take a close combat. You can definitely take a knockoff, no problem, especially if it's defensive, which they usually are. And we're going to knock off that Damp Rock. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hard switch back into Ninetales, because I'm fully expecting them to go on the offensive here and attack the Great Tusk. And maybe go for a Surf, so they can definitely hit the Ninetales on the switch as well. They could go for Hurricane if they want to risk missing it, but I don't think they will go for Hurricane. I think it's more likely to be Surfs here. So, and there's the Surf, as expected, which is great. So now we can go straight for that Aurora Veil. Now, I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking they have got Defogger in Scizor, so this could actually open up an opportunity for us to do something with Scizor. So let's see what we can do. Let's go for an Aurora Veil. They do withdraw the Pelipper again. And they are going to go straight to Scizor. Hasami, that's a Scizor. Yeah, I remember. So Scizor comes in. We get that Aurora Veil up. That's going to help us in the long run with defensive capabilities and all that stuff. And I'm going to expect them to go for a Defog here if they have Defog. The fact that they're leftovers tells me they may be Defog. So let's see how this plays out for us. We could use this opportunity to go into our Heatran and go for a Magma Storm on something. Or we can go into something like our Iron Thorns, go for a Rock Blast. But that just invites in the Gastrodon, really, so I'm wondering what to do. I think I will go with a Great Tusk option, just because I want to see what they're going to do. I don't know whether they'll go straight for the KO on the Ninetales or not. I don't think they will, but they might. You never know. So they do go for a Swords Dance, so they may not have Defog on this particular Scizor, which is good to know. Very good to know. First things first, I want to get rid of them leftovers, because they're helping it recover too much HP right now. We had got a bit of chip damage off on it, but that's kind of gone now. So I'm going to go for a knockoff, like so. Get rid of them leftovers, and then we'll see what they're going to do. Another Swords Dance. So they are setting up to sweep right now, which is terrifying in its own right. Very terrifying. We now have to go for an Earthquake to get as much damage off on this Scizor as possible. As there we go. Nearly KOs it, as they go for a Trailblaze, which unfortunately for them isn't enough to KO us. And Rocky Helmet. So the Scizor goes down. It does do a lot of damage to our Great Tusk, but we are able to fend it off. Now I'm looking at the team and I'm thinking there's not a lot that wants to switch into a Ninetales Freeze Dry right now. Okay, in comes whatever that is, which is going to be the Raikou. So this thing is going to either go for a Calm Mind here or a Scald. I don't foresee needing my Great Tusk anymore because their whole team basically counters it. So I'm going to go for an Earthquake just in case they decide to get cocky and go for a Calm Mind, because I don't want Raikou setting up on me. So let's do it. They are going to Terra, it looks like. Maybe Terra Water or Terra Flying, potentially. Let's see how this plays out. So they go Terra Water. So they are going to go for the Terra Water. This also backs up the theory that they may go for a Calm Mind because now they can take an Earthquake, no problem. As they go for a Scald, which is fine. I'm glad they went for the Scald there because it means that we don't have to face Calm Minding Raikou. So that's great. So with Raikou officially not Calm Minded up, we can now go into something more accustomed to taking care of this. So I'm leaning towards Ninetales to go for that Freeze Dry, but I'm also leaning towards the Iron Thorns to Supercell Slam it. But they may bring the Gastrodon in against it, so it's like, do I really want to do that? I think my best bet is going to be the Ninetales here, so I'm going to go into it. We've got the Aurora Veil up, so we should be able to take a Scald from this thing, no problem. Should be able to take a Scald. It's just whether Freeze Dry is going to be enough to KO. I don't know whether it will be, but we'll try anyway. So they're going to withdraw. They don't want to get hit by a Freeze Dry, which makes a lot of sense. They want to save it for later, and they're going to go into the Pelican. The Pelicanus. That's how I'm going to pronounce it. Let's go for a Freeze Dry. Take out that Pelicanus real quick. As down it goes. So the rain is now gone for good once we get the snow back up, which is great. We don't want the rain up against the rest of their team because obviously Gastrodon powers up water type moves. Meowscarada loads fire type moves, and the Raikou powers up its Scald. So they're now going to bring in this thing again, which is going to be the Raikou, right? Yep, there we go. I saw the Cherish Ball and I was like, that's a Raikou. So now I'm thinking Scald may KO us. May KO us. We do have some options in Terra. But it's not really viable. So I'm leaning towards a switch into my Primarina. I think I am going to go Primarina because I'm fully expecting them to go for a Scald here, and Primarina doesn't care if it gets burned. And it's also Assault Vest, so we can take a Thunderbolt, that's for sure. They go for a Thunder though, which doesn't even do half. I told you, Primarina is a bulky monster with an Assault Vest. It's terrifyingly good. So now I think Primarina's only job this game is going to be doing this, so I'm going to go for a Moonblast right now. They go for another Thunder though, that's going to sting a bit. Doesn't quite KO us, might paralyze us, doesn't quite paralyze us. We go for a Moonblast, does over half. And the Aurora Veil is going to wear off now, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So, now that we know we've weakened this thing, let's go for another Moonblast just in case. They go for another Thunder though, and that's going to destroy Primarina. Obviously, Aurora Veil was up, which is why we took the Thunder so well. But it was still pretty impressive to take the Thunder that well anyway. So what do we do here? So we've got a couple of options. I'm leaning towards the Raikou, the Heatran option with the Terra Grass. Terra Grass gives us an opportunity to be able to wall the Gastrodon as well. So I am going to go with the Heatran option. I don't really foresee needing the Terra for anything else other than this particular threat. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and Terra Grass, and then we'll go straight for an Earth Power. It won't be enough to KO, but we are specially defensive, so we can definitely take a Thunder and a Scald in the rain, no problem. They are going to switch out, so they're probably expecting the Terra, which is fair enough. It tells me they don't have Volt Switch. And they're going to go into Gastropode, which is the Gastrodon. We Terra Grass. Now we have a perfect Pokemon to switch into the Raikou if we need to. So it's not that big of a deal that they've done this. In fact, if anything, it's great. Fantastico. Because now that we're a Grass type, their only option to take care of this is going to be the Galarian Weezing. So we go for an Earth Power on the Gastrodon. Oh, unless this thing has Ice Beam on it, which might sting a little bit, but it won't sting too much. The rain does stop, though, which is great. It's going to lower the power of that Raikou. Thunder is no longer 100% accurate, and Scald is no longer boosted by the rain. Let's go for a Taunt, because this thing likes to set up Stealth Rocks and go for Yawns. So if I go for a Taunt on it, that'll be pretty good. So we go for a Taunt, there we go. Gastrodon gets taunted into Oblivion. Like so. They go for an Ice Beam, though, and that is going to sting a little bit, but not too much. Not too much. So the Air Balloon is going to pop, which is unfortunate, but we're no longer weak to ground, so we don't have to worry about that too much. And now looking at the team, and I'm thinking, you know what would be really useful here, because there's going to be a lot of switching around. Stealth Rocks. So I'm going to go for a Stealth Rocks first. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is, because this Gastrodon's hitting us with an Ice Beam, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get my Dewgong in. So they go for another Ice Beam. Takes us down to about 50%. We can still use the Heatran as a way to counteract the Raikou. So I'm definitely going to keep it around. That's for sure. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hard switch into Dewgong. I think Dewgong can handle this Gastrodon, no problem with Triple Axel. They don't really want to switch the Raikou into Triple Axel. They definitely don't want to switch the Meowscarada into Triple Axel. Galarian Weezing can probably take it, but, you know, it is what it is. So they may expect a Freeze Dry here, and they may go into the Galarian Weezing anyway. If they are expecting a Freeze Dry. I don't think Dewgong actually gets Freeze Dry. It could do. I don't know. I didn't really think about special sets. I didn't say anything else there. Let's go for a Triple Axel real quick and see how much damage we're doing. Okay, so if we can hit 3 times, that'd be nice. Yes. Oh, nice damage on the Gastrodon. Very nice damage on the Gastrodon. As now they're going to go for their own Stealth Rocks, which is very good on their part. It's going to limit our amount of switches we can do. Because a lot of people say they should bring in a method to punish people who switch all the time. And it's like Stealth Rock Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Sticky Webs. They're all there. Like, that's literally what they were made for. If you got rid of switches, those moves would be made redundant. Let's go for a Triple Axel again, because there's no reason not to. They do switch out, though. What are they going to go into? Are they going to go into the Raikou? Mostagarsu. That's the Galarian Weezing. Nice and shiny as well. Gotta love it. They're going to get some Stealth Rock Chip, and let's see how much this Triple Axel does. Hopefully we can hit all 3 times. We do, which is nice. And that does over half, which is great. So if we can hit another 3 times, we should be able to KO this Weezing, which is amazing. Dewgong putting in the work right now. Let's go for another Triple Axel, and hopefully we can hit all 3 times. Triple Axel comes through. There's 2. And there's 3. Down goes the Galarian Weezing, a physically defensive Pokemon. Dewgong just annihilated it, and Gastrodon went down in like... will go down in like another hit. So that's amazing. They're really good from Raikou right there. From Dewgong right there. Okay, in comes Facade, which is going to be the Meowscarada. It's the only other Pokemon they've got left that isn't already been shown. They're going to get hit by the Stealth Rocks, which is always nice and fine. Let's go into Ninetales first, and we'll try and get that Aurora Veil up. If we can't get the Aurora Veil up, then it's not too bad, because we can still bring in the Dewgong and have its boosted defense help us. But, you know, it's not the end of the world, let's just say that. So we're going to bring Ninetales in. They're probably going to go for a Flower Trick, which will bypass our defensive boosts, I believe, because it's a critical hit. There's the Flower Trick. Boost them into a Grass type. We go for... And can we live? We can't live, so that's unfortunate. But what can you do? What can you do? Not a lot, really. So, Meowscarada, what are my options? I've got a Heatran, which can probably live a Flower Trick, and go for a Magma Storm right now. If we assume they're banded, because they usually are. Or we can risk it for a Chocolate Biscuit with the Iron Thorns and go for a Dragon Dance. That's a risky one, though. Because we are a Rock type, remember? Very risky. Grass doesn't resist Grass, so Flower Trick may KO us. I guess all we got to do is just try it and see. I think we try it. No. Yeah, I think we have to try it with a Heatran and see if Heatran can live a Flower Trick. It depends what set they are. If they're banded, I don't think we live. I don't think we live if they're banded. Let's go for a Magma Storm and find her out. So they withdraw. So they must be banned. They must be choiced. And they must not want to risk it. So they're going to go into the Gastrodon, which is fine. Gastrodon comes on in. Get some Stealth Rock Chip. We go for a Magma Storm. And we do hit, which is nice. Boom. Doesn't quite KO, but obviously the next turn we're going to get some Swirling Magma going on. Which is going to KO them after the leftovers. So there's the leftovers popping. And unfortunately for them, it's not quite enough to live. As Magma Storm finishes them off like so. So we got rid of the Gastrodon, which is great. To be honest with you, I think what we're going to have to do here is rely on Meowscarada to go for a knockoff here. But they are going to bring in the Raikou again. Interesting choice. So Raikou comes in. It's going to get some Stealth Rock damage. Pressure is exerted. What we need is for them to go for a knockoff with Meowscarada. That's what we need. Because if we take away their Grass Stab, let's go for an Earth Power. If we take away their Grass Stab, they have Aura Sphere on this thing. We can live that. We can live that, no problem. Earth Power comes through. Down goes the Raikou. So it all comes down to Meowscarada. We've got 3 versus 1. Can the cat pull this back? Can the cat pull this back? Can the cat pull this back? In comes the Meowscarada now. It's going to get some Stealth Rock chip. Now, the only thing that could save us here is Dewgong. Because now they've had that Stealth Rock chip, if they do go for a Flower Trick here, we'll go for Magma Storm just in case. They do go for a Flower Trick, which means our last chance is Ice Shard from Dewgong. Oh, Grass does resist Grass. Never mind, that's my fault. So, it was right the player made earlier. We did force them out. That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. For some reason, I thought Grass didn't resist Grass. I don't know why. But it would make sense because fire resists fire, water resists water. Anyway, I think our last ditch effort now is going to be Dewgong because they're not life orbs, so we can't exactly sack Iron Thorns to get some damage off. I'm just gonna go with a Dewgong play, and I'm gonna really hope and pray that A, we can live a Flower Trick in the snow because we have got one more turn of snow left, and B, whether Ice Shard can KO from here. It's choice banded, it might do. Let's go for it. Let's go for it and find out. So Ice Shard comes through. It just barely misses the KO. But can we live the Flower Trick in the snow? No, we cannot. No, we cannot, unfortunately. As Gong Gong goes down. And the Meowscarada, despite Dewgong's efforts, and despite Dewgong putting in the finest of work this game, it all comes down to whether or not Iron Thorns can take a Flower Trick. And I don't believe it can. I really don't believe it can after Stealth Rocks. Especially after Stealth Rocks. I think it still couldn't anyway. Let's go for a Pin Missile just in case. Flower Trick comes through. Boom. And unfortunately, we aren't able to live that, and down goes Iron Thorns. That's going to be the game. So GG, Leah. That was a really fun one. You know, considering like it was a randomer online that I found. Like, they normally bring Uber Noobers and stuff like that. But this person was very, you know, pretty good battle, and they brought a really solid team. Really mixed team as well, which is nice to see. So, yeah. GG. But anyway, here is the team. Try it out if you want to. Use the code at the top right corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.